Hello, my name is David Disco, and I'm working with your account. I work for the company of Edmentum and helping LA Unified School District work on educational software. And I wanted to give you a little bit of instruction today on how to log in and use the Edmentum piece for your distance learning. So what we've got here is we're looking at the login screen right here. And to get here, the address is in the upper left-hand corner here, and it says login.edmentum.com. You don't need to put www or any of that other stuff in there. Just login.edmentum.com will take you right here, land you on this nice page with the purple banner and the company logo up here. And then you're going to need three things to get into the system. Number one, you'll need the account login. That just says which facility you're associated with, what school district. In this case, it's LAUSD AE. So that's Los Angeles Unified School District Adult Education. Okay, so that's what you put up in the top there. Doesn't matter whether that one's in uppercase or lowercase, either one works fine. You're also going to be given a username. The username is going to let you get into the system. You can't request a username through our company. You have to go through the school to get that. They will give you the username and the password, and they'll make the assignments for you. So we're going to use a test student account right here. And don't worry about the test student. Your name's going to look different up here, but you type that username in here, you type in password, and then you come in here and hit login to Edmentum. Okay, this will take you right in. And again, you're going to get your username and password from the school folks, so just go ahead and use that. Now, what I'm looking at here is some assignments that I've been given. Now, you can't, assign yourself anything in here. The instructors that are working with you can give you assignments. So whatever shows up here is what you're given to work with. In this case, you've got two things to work on. So we're going to take a reading assessment to figure out, kind of where reading ability lies. And it tells me here that it's not started. So if I had started it, it would tell me how far I was in it. And instead of saying begin, it would say continue, or finish the assignment, or go to the next step. So in this case, when it's brand new, it's got that little symbol up there to call your attention to it. And where it says begin, that's where you go to click start. I've got a second one down here that has a little different focus to it. Your instructors will talk to you about the difference between these two. But I wanted to show you how to get started on taking this first one here. So I'm going to start here, hit the begin button. And this is a reading assessment. So it gives me a couple of words over here with some definitions associated with them. And it says, which type of software needs to be loaded onto a computer before a printer will work? Okay, so that's one of the questions. I make my selection, and then I hit next. So this is basically what you're going to do for this entire assessment. You're going to read the question. You're going to, maybe there's a long or a short reading passage here. In this case, it's a conversation between two characters, and you answer the question. It says, which is true about this play? So you just work through these questions. Now, I want to point out a couple of things. You need to take your time. You need to answer honestly. In this case, if you don't know, or you have a strong feeling that it might be one answer over another, then go with that feeling and say, I think it's this. I'm not 100% sure. That's okay. I'm not saying just blindly guess and click the first thing that comes to your mind, but read it, think about it, and click the one that you think it might be. Okay? So you continue through this test, and I'll just select one here. Go to next, and here's another one. We got a short passage here, and then we have to decide what logical fallacy does this letter exhibit. So let me ask you a question. What if you don't know what the word logical or the word fallacy means or exhibit? Well, there are some reader tools up here, but there's no dictionary for you, unfortunately. This is a reading test, and we don't want to kind of give away this. We want to see how you can best interpret what's going on here in this reading passage. Now, what this can help you with is if you need some help reading this, you can come up here and hit click to speak on, hit play, little play button here, and it will go ahead and read this to me. See how it's highlighting the line it's going to read in yellow, and then the word it's speaking is going to be in blue. So you have a little thing you can read. You've got some highlighters up here. Maybe you're scanning down looking for certain words or certain types of sentences. You can help yourself using the highlighter. So those are a couple of things you can use to help yourself with. Okay? So you continue on. Now, if I wanted to, let's say I wanted to pace myself and say I want to answer 15 questions. I set a goal, I want to answer 15, and then I want to stop and take a break. That's a really good idea, by the way, because we want to make sure you're fresh and you can go in and you can answer these questions to the best of your ability. We don't want you working until you're really tired. So what you're going to do, if you want to take a break, come up here, hit the save and exit button. It's going to pop up a little message and say, hey, you sure you want to save? Yes, I want to save. I'm going to hit exit assignment. And then I come back here. Now notice how this has changed a little bit. That little symbol up there that said new is gone because I've already accessed it, so it's not new anymore. And instead of saying begin, like this one does here, it says continue. So if I wanted to keep on answering, maybe took a break, did something else for a few minutes, come back, hour or two later, whatever works for you, and hit continue, and then you can come back in and work on it some more. So this really is going to help you a little bit, pace yourself, and get good, solid information out of this assessment. So if I want to continue, I just hit the continue button. So what I'm going to do here, instead of having us go through all the tests and having you watch me answer these questions, I'm going to pause my recording, and then I'm going to come back as I get near the end of the test. I want to show you what happens at the end of the test, okay? So I'll be back with you in just a minute, and we're going to pause our recording, and I'll be back. Okay, so I've stepped through some of the questions here, and we're going to go finish this up, and I'll show you what happens toward the end. So we're just going to go in, and we're going to answer a couple of these more questions. There's not too many, and this will also give you a feel for about how many questions. Your number of questions may not be exactly the ones that we encounter here. Sometimes the questions are a little more, sometimes a little less. So we're getting close to the end here. About 30 is roughly about how many questions are on here. And there we go. So it hits the end. It didn't say I hit the end. It just came up a little message window there and said, I'm grading your questions. It says, okay, you have completed the assignment. I only have one choice. I get the big okay button. So I come back and it takes me back to my entry page. And now it's got something a little bit different. It's still. So that test that I was working on, that assessment piece, is now gone, and it's replaced by the prescription. So it says prescription for reading assessment. So it took a look at my performance and it said, okay, from your performance, this is what I think you need to work on. And that's really what we were going for here. So I'm going to select a new activity, and that launches me into my prescriptive work. And it says, okay, these are the things that you need to do. So if I want to work on, say, my language and vocabulary here, it's the first one in the list, I click here and it gives me a couple of things to do. So I've got an assignment here on a pretest, and the pretest is another quiz that you could take. Maybe you can pass some of these things here. Again, it gives you a second chance to pass these. So right here, I can take that pretest and skip over some of these, but let's say we want to do 5A. So I've got a tutorial, I've got some applications, I've got a mastery test, and then a practice. So it gives me a couple different things to do. The idea is we want you to do all of these if you can and really build up your skills. Okay, that's language and vocabulary. You move on to literature, kind of the same piece here. Informational text, it's another piece. And then it starts with level E and takes you up to level J. So each one of these levels has a different set of work for you. So when you finish one level, come over here and you go to the next level. So they're all structured fairly much the same, and you'll just work through these. Now, as you're going through here, you can view your progress report. If you want to see how much work I've already done, this is a good way to go in and do that. And everything is color coded. In progress, it has a blue marker on it. It says that this is something I'm currently working on. A green marker means it's completed or mastered, and yellow means not mastered. The difference between the two is the yellow says, okay, you completed it, but your score maybe wasn't as high as everybody would like. If you see a lot of these, then you can actually come back and work on it some more. Your instructor, your teacher will give you some feedback on that and kind of coach you through which ones they want you to go back and kind of do a little bit better. But you can always go back and try again. This is not one of those things you try it once, you get the grade and test and you're done. We want you to work on this and master these objects. So if you think of this, if I don't get that green mark on it and I get a star on it that says you've mastered it, I might want to circle back and go through the lesson material again. And if I do, the test will open again for me. So first time I go through it, take it, it's going to lock. But if I go through and do the lesson, it will unlock for me and I can try it again. So that's a way to improve your score. The higher that score is, the better, but 80% is what we consider the goal that we want to shoot for, okay? Gray means not started, that's where everything is. And really, it just walks you through a very simple interface. If I want to go back to the previous page where I enter when I log in, I click Home. And you can see it's wanting me to select a new activity because I haven't really started anything yet. This bar down here is going to fill up as I complete items in this, and that'll give me an idea of how far along I am in this process. Okay. The second one that we haven't talked about yet is kind of what you would do in the next stage. So if you get kind of this assessment here, it's going to go in and say, okay, what's your reading level like? And it will help coach you to improve that. After you get leveled out in the reading or the math, whatever is appearing up here, it depends on what's been set up for you. In some cases, you may not even have anything on this assessment piece. And then you would say, okay, maybe I need to do my high set work and start that high set process. So again, I hit begin. Kind of the same way, we take a series of questions. So in this case, we know exactly how many questions we have here. So we can do 1 out of 32. This means I'm on question 1. I got 32 to go. And it gives me the question. And it says choose the answer. Now here, I've got some reader tools. And again, I can use the highlighter. I can use click to speak so I can have it read out to me if I need to. And I also have this one that says save and exit, just like the other one. So if I wanted to pause it right here and say, okay, I don't want to do all 32 questions right now. And, honestly, that you can do 32 in one sitting if you wish, but you don't have to. You can pause. You can do 5, 10 or so questions. Pause it, take a break, come back, keep working, and it will pick up right where you left off. Okay. The one you have to watch out for is this one right here. This means I give up, and anything I don't answer is going to be marked wrong. So if I say grade my assessment here, I haven't answered any of these questions, I'm going to get a 0. Okay. That's, kind of like your fail safe. You don't want to do anymore. You give up. Maybe it's, you know, push you a little too far. That's okay. I would say before you hit that grade assessment, hit save and exit. Come back after, a couple hours, maybe the next day, and try again. Okay. Sometimes we get frustrated. Sometimes we get tired. But really, this works to help you. We need to find out where you are, and then what's going to happen off of this one is when you finish it, kind of like what we did with the other one, it's going to analyze how you did on this and figure out what you need to work on. Rather than teaching you everything in the book, you're going to get just those things that you need help with. And that's really the important part here, is we want to work with you efficiently to get you down the road to successful on the high school equivalency exam, whether it's GED, TASC, or HiSET. We really want you to be successful here. And the best way to do that is to find out what you need to work on and focus you first on that. So those are the kind of things you'll need to do. So I'm going to hit save and exit here and come back and work on this some other time. Okay. So it says, okay, I looked at it, I started it, and says continue. It's going to take me right back to question number 1 because that's where I saved it. So really, these are the big things that are part of the interface. And the last thing you need to remember is when you're finished, hit the sign out button. Okay? That takes you out of here. It's always good practice, no matter what you're working on. If you have to log into something where it says a username and password and it identifies you, it's really good practice to always log out of what you're working on. I can come back here. I can log back in if I need to. Just put in the account login, the username, and your password. Hit login. You can pick up right where you left off. Okay. So just want to give you a few pointers, show you how the thing worked, and I really hope that you're successful with our process. Thank you very much.